up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. Everybody, it's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is The Shy, Season 3, Episode 9. Okay, I thought this was a good episode. It's still some things that I have issues with, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. I have some issues with them, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna keep it rolling. So let's go ahead and talk about it, all right? We start off this episode with Keisha. She's having nightmares about her whole kidnapping situation and everything that happened. She wakes up, she's kind of having a panic attack. Kevin hears her in the other room, so he goes to check on her, and she's doing some breathing exercises, apparently, probably that she's been learning in therapy. And on the last episode, I forgot to say that it was snowing when they started to go to therapy, and it wasn't snowing when everything happened. So it had some time had passed, before she's decided to just go ahead and start doing the therapy. So Kevin comes in to check on her, and she's like, get out, I'm okay, get the F out. And so he's like, you still mad? And she's like, Kevin, get out. So apparently he feels really bad about what he said to her last week. Then we see Nina and Dre, they're walking on the beach. They're in some kind of like therapy run or something. And she's like, girl, you got me out here doing white people stuff, okay? Like, this too much. And Dre is like, listen, we got to redefine our normal. We got to get ourselves back on track, and we got to give Keisha time to be independent. So it seems as if they are in therapy as well, which is great. I'm glad to see them in therapy. This is very good. So they out there getting their little hike on in the freezing cold, child. I know they cold because it's Chicago. Chicago ain't nothing to play with. We see Dominique and Evan and Tiffany and Jada. They are in Sonny's, y'all. They just did Sonny so dirty, y'all. Why we ain't seeing Sonny no more? The last time we seen Sonny, Emmett had broke his little heart. He ain't even apologize. We didn't even see a scene where Evan said, I'm sorry, Sonny. And they like had a reconciliation. We wasn't even going to do that. Y'all just going, okay. Okay, so anywho, they're getting Sonny's together, and they have to figure out a name for the restaurant, right? And so we see that Emmett is staring at Dominique, and he looking at her so damn hard, like it's a lot. Like, sir, you're doing the most. Calm down, okay? He's telling everybody he wants some new chairs. He wanted to do the floors. He wanted to do an accent wall, and Dominique is like, we got to make some money first, okay? So he needs to think of a name. He needs some time because the name has to be inspired. He can't just think of anything. And so Dominique is like, well, let me know if you need some inspiration. And Tiffany turned around like, girl, the fuck? Okay, I'd be like, girl, who is, girl, ma'am, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. At church, we with Ronnie and the preacher, and he's going in on how Ronnie found the Lord, and when he turned his life over to Lord, he found salvation. That's when God helped him basically find Keisha or whatever. And so a man stands up, and he's like, he's still a murderer. He don't deserve nothing. And he's like, listen, don't pay him no mind. People gonna say what they gonna say. And Ronnie tells him, listen, I don't deserve any of these accolades. Okay, I'm just a vessel. Okay, I'm just a vessel. And Tracy comes up, and she stands up, and she tells Ronnie she wants to thank him because he held her hand through the hardest part of her life, and so she decided, her and her ladies group have decided they put some money together, and they gave him some money. Now Rose and Otis are also at the church, and they stand up, and Rose says that they're gonna give some money as well. They're gonna give him $5,000. And Otis looking at her like, bitch,
who said that? Who said that?
He gives a speech about, that's why, they're gonna give the money to him because they care about the community, and everybody needs to go vote, and we need to get registered, and yada, yada, yada. Emmett and Tiffany are talking, and he's giving her all the different names, y'all. One of the names was Suck My Bones. Bitch, are you kidding me? And she was like, you got to come up something that's better than a porn name, okay? This is not cute, okay? Do better than this. Don't think about it so hard, you're overthinking it. He thanks her for being there for him, but always being 10 toes down and supporting him. And she was like, yeah, nobody got you like I got you, okay? Like, you got to know that or whatever. I guess they trying to make us think they have a solid relationship now. Like, I just don't see it for Tiffany and Emmett. I'm sorry. I don't see it for him and Dominique either. I don't see it for either one of them. Neither one. I don't see it. Emmett's character is really immature. Like, I feel like he's grown in some aspects. I know I said last week he hadn't grown at all, but he has grown in some aspects. But in other aspects, he has not grown at all. He's just very immature. And I'm over him. We see Kevin, he's following Keisha everywhere she goes. She's walking, and she's like, Kevin, chill. And he's like, no, I'm not letting you out of my sight again. And if I was Kevin, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would be the same way for a little while. And so she kind of starts to have a panic attack once she sees a bus, I think. No, that was later on. It was something she saw that triggered her to have a panic attack. And so she's starting to breathe and do the exercises the way she's taught. And he's standing right there. She tells him that she heard that he said that he wishes that she didn't come back. And he was like, I didn't mean that. And she was like, yes, you did. So she goes into the store. She says she's going to buy some tampons, and he don't need to come up in there with her. her. We see Otis working his magic, and then we see Rose is cutting him off several times, talking about they come up with this new plan. They're going to be fixing the potholes, you know, on the side of town. Well, he says the side of town that they need to be fixed on because they be fixing potholes on the north side, and they ain't even got no potholes, okay? So she cutting him off and going, you know, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and they're going to call this plan reparations, okay? Otis is looking like her.
Bitch, shut the fuck up. Ixnay on the reparations rate.
What did you talk about? He pulls her to the side like, Mama, you doing a little bit too much. Like, nobody told you to do all that. You need to stick to the script. And she was like, I am sticking to the script. I wrote it. Okay, so I can improvise if I want to. What are you talking about? And he like, listen, I don't know what you're talking about, but you need to chill out. You doing too much. He walks away and he talks to the pastor, right? Because the pastor has switched his support to Otis Perry now. And so the pastor tell him, you know, I just wanted to tell you that I really wanted to meet with Angela one more time because, you know, me and her, we had some things that it was very educational the last time I met with her. And he was like, okay, yes, I don't have no problem doing that. Yes, that's cool. So I was like, is Angela a hoe? Is Angela a woman of the night? Like, what's going on with Papa Daddy? Like, he out here living, what's going on? Like, do he have a wife? I have confusion, okay, because Papa Daddy, you nasty. What's going on, baby? So Papa talks to Ronnie, and Ronnie tells him that he's going to move to Springfield tomorrow. He's going to get his things and leave tomorrow. But something about this episode, I didn't see it coming, y'all. I really didn't. They did a good job of, like, tricking you to make you think, oh, he's actually just going to leave the show and it's not going to be no big deal. Like, I really did not think about this. It hit me over the side of the head. It did. So we got Emmett and Dominique again. So Emmett is telling her, you know, he coming in the kitchen like, you good with everything? You know what I mean? You straight or whatever? And she was like, listen, we ain't got to talk about it no more. I told you I'm not like these other girls. I'm not going to catch no feelings. Like, chill out or whatever. And he was like, so you don't be thinking about it? And she was like, apparently, you thinking about it a lot. And then we go back to Otis and Rose, and he tells her that she needs to take her ass home. I mean, who is the candidate, girl? Who running, you or me? Okay, and he was like, take your ass home. You done. Girl, you out of here. Okay, so then Tracy comes on out of the house. We see that she's leaving as Ronnie's leaving at the same time. And she asks him if he wants to see his granddaughter. It's interesting how she's his granddaughter sometimes, and sometimes they claim that she's not his granddaughter. I just don't like the way they be doing Ronnie or whatever. Either she is his granddaughter or not. I mean, he done did what he done did. It is what it is. But it's kind of like your mama is your mama, regardless of what they did. So that's still his granddaughter. So now she his granddaughter. So he says, yes, he want to see his granddaughter. Of course he does. So she was like, I'm really going to be sad to see you go, even though I know we're not that close. And he says that he's going to go throw his grandmother's ashes, and he asked her to come. And she's like, well, she didn't even like me. But he was like, it don't matter. You know, let's go ahead and go. So they go ahead, like they're going to go do the grandma ashes. Then we see Trip. Trip is getting his car robbed. So he runs out and he has a gun, the little dude running down the street. And Jake is like, hey, that's little Jay. He from the 63rd. And he looks into his car. And he says, well, he didn't take nothing. And he sees that he had put in a whole bunch of drugs in there. So basically, you know, we put you some drugs in the car. We call the police on you. You go to jail, right? And so Jake says he has an idea. I'm like, child. We back at the hike with Nina and Dre, and they're having a cute little moment with each other. And, you know, they're talking about laying their burdens down. So Nina admits that fear is her biggest burden. She says that she fears that Dre is going to fall out of love with her. She fears that, you know, something else is going to happen to her kids and all these different things that she fears. It really holds her hostage. And Dre says that she fears she can't help Nina heal herself, that she can't fix everything. She says her friends always told her that she'd get with broken women and she liked to fix people, and she used to think they was lying, but ever since all of this has happened, she's really come to find that she has, and her biggest fear is not being able to, you know, help her and fix her. And she was like, well, I seem to always find broken women, they just seem to be easier to love. And she was like, well, girl, you done hit the jackpot. You messing around with me, okay? Because I am broken boots. Okay, and they have a little cute moment and they hug each other. They seem to be in a better place than they were earlier, and that's good, because I was hoping, you know, that their marriage is gonna make it, you know, especially through all this hard things that's happened. So we see Jada and Emmett, and they're hanging the lights because Jada came and asked them to hang the lights earlier. And she basically asks Dominique, okay, she seemed a little okay, and why were you guys arguing? And he was like, I mean, no, it's nothing, you know what I'm saying? We just trying to figure out what the name is going to be. And she was like, I don't believe you. Did you fuck her? And he was like, no, of course not. And then he was like, I mean, it didn't mean nothing. You know, it didn't mean anything. He was like, boy, you was a hot mess. Okay, like, and he says he's cured. He realized that he loves Tiffany so much. You know, Dominique has cured him. You know, now you know she was like, listen, I'm not the one you got to convince. Okay, so I mean, when Tiffany find out about this, she ain't stupid, so you better get your life together. So then we see Ronnie and Tracy, they walking, and, you know, she's telling him, you don't have to leave. And he was like, listen, it's time for me to build a life somewhere else. You know, it's time for me to go ahead and go. They're walking to a place where Grandma used to be with him right before he said he went to basic training, I think. And so he says his little prayer to Grandma and how nobody ever loved him like she did, and nobody ever will. It was beautiful. And he put the ashes out for her. I just want to say Ronnie looked so good this episode. My God, he looks so much better. When you get off that narcotic, boy, you be looking good. He looked so much better this episode. My goodness, he looked like a human being. Like when he had the jacket on and he bent down, I was like, he looks so handsome. Oh, I just hate that this happened to him. So he spreads her ashes. We see Keisha. She's on the bathroom. She in the bathroom. She on the toilet. She is taking a pregnancy test. And so, y'all, as she's coming out of there, Dre and Nina are coming home from the hike, and they're walking into the living room, and she comes in and she shows them the test, and they just like, oh my God. So we see that she's pregnant from everything that's happened. And Kevin says he left right before she came out of the bathroom. He was going to go help Emmett. And we see Trip and Jake. They're about to execute this plan. And he's like, are you going in? Yes, I'm going in. They're in front of Duda's house. So he's like, anytime you feel something weird, you know what I'm saying, just let me know or whatever. So he drops them off and he drives away. And so he's going into the safe in the house to get some type of paperwork or something. And obviously, Rose was told to go home. So Rose sees him. She walks around the corner. She like, boy, how you going to try to steal from a safe? You don't know the combination. And she was like, she thought about it for a second. And I guess she was like, look at me. I said, look at me. Okay, so she was like, it didn't go to combination 11, 24, 15. And she walked around the corner. I was like... Boy, she just threw a wrench in your plan. I don't know what's about to happen, but it ain't gonna be good for Otis. Jake look back like, well, you know, I guess God is on my side, okay? And he gonna continue to do what he doing. See that Keisha is really panicking about this, saying, you know, when am I gonna be able to get rid of this baby? Basically, they're like, okay, we're gonna get rid of it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna take care of it. Let's call Jade. And she's like, no, I don't want nobody to know. And he was like, no, everything is gonna be confidential. You know, like, Jada can't tell nobody. She a nurse. She can't tell nobody what's going on to you. Don't worry about it. We're going to take care of this. Tracy and Ronnie are walking and talking. He's walking her home. And she's talking about how crazy Miss Ethel was and how she messed up this one Thanksgiving with the turkey burnt up or something like that. And he was like, no, I mean, that was really one of the best Thanksgivings I ever had. You know, actually, you know what I'm saying? You didn't really mess up anything. The girl texts and she said that they can come see the baby tomorrow. Now, he's supposed to leave first thing in the morning now, okay? And so he says, well, I'm going to make it work. You know, I'm going to stay so that I can see the baby or whatever. And he was like, cool. So he walks her home and he tells her thank you for everything. And he let her go on in the house. I was like, all right, that's cute. You was a little gentleman. That was real cute. We see Trig in the car. Jake comes back and he has something in his hand. He got it. Whatever it is, he got it. You see Kevin is helping Emmett with the setup. He's setting up something so you can use your phone to pay or whatever. He's kind of getting everything together with the kiosk or whatever. And he asks about Keisha, and he was like, I mean, she pretty much the same. She's not really talking. And, you know, Emmett once again tells him it's going to take some time. You're going to have to give her a lot of time. You know what I mean? However much time that she needs to heal from this situation. So I'm glad that he at least has Emmett to kind of give him that word. Like, stop tripping on your sister. Give her some time. You know, she done been through a lot. So he said, what do you think about this name? Great Smokes. And he was like, bro, it sounds like you're selling weed. Like, I'm gonna need for you to get these names together. You're overthinking it. You're doing too much. Keep it simple. Emmett is watching Tiffany and the baby sleeping and gets up and goes to the pawn shop and he goes to buy her this little $500 ring. He had to give up a watch that his cousin gave him or something like that, but he ends up buying her this ring. Then we see Dominique and Tiffany working together and I was like, I hope she about to tell her. She about to tell her. But she didn't say nothing or whatever. She was like, girl, he's a mess. Why he got you carrying all this stuff? And she was like, girl, he is a mess. He be getting on my nerves. She was like, girl. She was like, I'm sure he getting on your nerves. And Dominique was like, girl, I'm sure he's getting on your nerves way more than he getting on my nerves. And then Jada walks up and Emmett is like, y'all come outside or whatever. So they changed the name to Smokey's Barbecue. He put up a little sign. We like the name of it. And it's named after Smokey Robinson, who apparently was the first DeBarge. Okay? That's who he was. I didn't know that, but this is a fun fact that we're finding out. We see Ronnie with the baby. Ronnie is hugging and kissing on the baby. The baby is so cute. The baby is gifted. And now the homegirl need money because the baby going to gifted school and she ain't got no money. So Ronnie gives her the $5,000 that he just got. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. If I was Ronnie, I wouldn't have gave that whole nothing because I know at the beginning of this season, she told him that he was not her granddaddy. Okay? She told him that he was a bum. And she kicked him out of her house. So I might have said, Grandma, put something on. I might have gave him 1,000. I wouldn't have gave the whole 5,000 though. But you know, Tracy was like, that was so nice. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to do that. And he was like, girl, I just wanted to help. You know, I'm just happy to help or whatever. And they said they're going to go to Emmett's opening. They having barbecue. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah, let's go. Kevin is texting Gemma to meet him at the barbecue spot. And she's like, my dad is watching my text. Don't text me or whatever. So Keisha comes in the room and is like, listen, put your clothes on. Let's go take a run. And she's like, why? Why you want me to go on the run? He got a whole attitude. And she's like, because I'm scared to go by myself. So he's like, okay, give me a second. But don't be leaving me like you know, be leaving me or whatever. So we see them running and she sees the bus and once again she begins to have a panic attack. Now she done left Kevin way behind her. So, you know, by the time he gets up there, she's had the panic attack and she's sitting on the curb and he kind of just sits there and comforts her. And at this moment we realize that Keisha has a long journey ahead of her. Like she has a long journey ahead. Grand opening. And this is a ribbon cutting that he's doing. And Emmett gives his little speech or whatever. And he cuts the ribbon. And before they decide to go inside, he proposes to Tiffany. And Dominique seemed like she get a little, you know, like she got a little feeling about it. Okay, she feels the type of way, honey. Ada congratulates her when she gets inside. And she's like, well, when y'all planning on getting married? She's like, girl, I don't. She said, nothing wrong with a long engagement, sis. Have a long engagement. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Please do that. Emmett talks to the realtor guy. I can't remember his name. And he got like some wrappers in there or something to eat for free. And he like, man, we about to run out of food. They finna eat everything. He was like, I mean, he gonna blow it up or whatever. So he go over there like he finna say something, but he punk out. He don't say nothing or whatever. And then we see Darnell comes into the restaurant and he got something to say, child. And Jada's like, your son got engaged today. Well, engaged to who? His baby mama. Which one? And she was like, well, Jada asked the Scorpio, well, she was cheating on him. And she was like, well, she wasn't the one cheating. Well, I heard she wasn't doing her wifely duties. So it's bad when she was cheating on him. But if he cheating on her, it's because she wasn't doing her wifely. Darnell, get the hell on, okay? Go get the hell on, Darnell, with your ignorant self, okay? You know, this somebody's uncle with this Bluetooth in his ear, with the thing in his ear, y'all. I was dead. We see Trig and Jake. They go to the campaign's office. This is Camille's campaign office. And they have some paperwork and they give it to the guy who is, I guess, working her campaign because he won't let him get back there to see Camille. And so he's like, well, what is this? Well, how much do you want for it? And he was like, well, just, you know, call it a favor. So we don't know what's in the file and I'm sure we're going to find out on the next episode, okay? We see that Dom congratulates Emmett after everything is over with. And on the engagement, and he's like, are you good? And she's like, yeah, well, why wouldn't I be good? You know, I'm good. Like, stop tripping or whatever. And so he's like, okay, well, I'm just making sure you're making the food with love. Then his father comes back there. Darnell comes back there and he starts hitting on her, like he flirting with her real hard. And Dominique, I think she was flirting back with him a little bit just to make Emmett mad. It seems like she's a little pressed about the situation. Like, girl, stop trying to act hard like you don't like this boy if you actually like him. I mean, I don't want him and Tiffany to break up. It seemed like they happy, even though I don't really see it from him. But you know what I mean? I feel like, Dominique, don't be talking all this noise if you finna blow this boy's spot up. Like, you know what it is, honey. You talked all that cash money shit. Now you feeling some type of way. You know what I mean? So and it did seem like, you know, even Emmett got a little bit, you know, like, boy, get your ass up out of here or whatever. So I don't know if Darnell gonna smash, but they probably gonna go on a date or something. So Nina goes into Keisha's room and she catches Keisha reading this book, What to Expect in Your First Month of Pregnancy. And Keisha says that she still wants to get rid of the baby, but she was just curious. So I think that she's probably going to end up keeping the baby, or at least she's going to seriously consider keeping the baby. So we'll see what happens with that whole situation. Ronnie comes in and he's greeted. You know, everybody is happy to see him in there. And, you know, they offer him some food, and a man in the line again is like, don't serve him no food. I mean, he ain't special. And it was like, man, he's a hero or whatever. What do you want? Let's get what you want. And Ronnie is like, this is my treat. So he treating Tracy to some barbecue. Jada, and, you know, it's just kind of like a pass by. Everybody's talking. So Papa's idea was for Kevin to take a picture and say, I miss you, and hit her up on Instagram. You can get in her DMs. Maybe her dad isn't checking that. And then we had Tracy and Ronnie. They walked by to go sit down to eat. And as we see them walking by, they pass by the table with Jada, and Darnell is hating, talking about her ring looked like it came from the pawn shop. Darnell is hating. Oh my God, he is hating. Talking about the wedding and, you know, did you have a big wedding? Well, you know, I mean, which one? I said, child, they a hot ass mess. A hot mess, okay? Gemma did like Kevin's picture, so that was good. He got a like. And we see that Emmett is kind of walking around checking on everybody. And so then we see Ronnie and Tracy. They're leaving out of the restaurant. They're throwing away their packaging. You know, they walking out the restaurant. And as they're walking out, child, somebody came out the back and shot Ronnie dead in the head. They make sure you see that so you know that his character is dead. He got shot more than once, but definitely in the head. And Tracy is screaming and hollering, and the man is like, that's for Coogie, murderer or something like that. And he runs away. I was like, child, this is too much for me. I just put my head down like, damn. Damn, they ain't have to do Ronnie like that. Man. The Shy is really playing with us. Y'all literally killed every character from season 1 except for Emmett and Kevin, who was the star of the show. Pretty much everybody else is gone. Either they just disappeared. Like, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Not the white police officer. Y'all remember the white police officer from season 1? Him and Ronnie's storyline was tied together. Do y'all remember him? He had a whole storyline. He had a wife. He had all that going on. What happened to them? They just disappeared. I guess we were just supposed to put together that Tiffany lost her baby when she said she didn't want to get pregnant again, because they ain't never say what happened. So we just going to assume that she lost the baby, okay? Funny, he just gone. I don't understand. That doesn't make sense to me, okay? That's the issues that I have with this show, is that they just... And somebody told me that Dre was the mailman on the first season. I said Dre was a male person on the first season. Now they got her married to Nina. Child, it's too much. Okay, so, but this episode was good. It was sad to see his character go, but his storyline was pretty much wrapped up. And I knew when he said new life, when they started talking about a new life, a new day, a new life, you know they ain't gonna make it. Okay, they're not gonna make it. So I thought this was a good episode though. So next week I think is the season finale. So I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think next week is the season finale. So I want to hear what your thoughts about this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will holler at you guys next week. Peace.